Let's talk a little boxing. Ryan Garcia versus Luke Campbell. We know what happens. Garcia stops Campbell in the seventh round, but not without some adversity. Check out some highlights right here. Garcia gets knocked down in the second round. Clipped good. He has his chin up high, gets clipped with a good left. Arm kind of goes limp a little bit, got up, and then was able to finish Luke Campbell with that body shot. But the question is, what happens when he faces Gervonta Tank Davis? What's going to happen with Gervonta, who hits way harder than Luke Campbell, although he is the smaller guy, comes in there and tests Ryan's chin. Yes, Ryan is taller. He's 5'10". He's going to have 4 inches as far as height goes. The width on as far as length, arm wise, is going to be a little bit closer. But if Tank connects with Ryan and Ryan keeps keeping his head up, it could be a short night for Ryan. If Ryan chooses to box and doesn't want to bang, then Ryan could get the decision. But that's going to be a really tough battle for Ryan, who's 22 years old. He'll be 23 this year. Tank is 26. He'll be 27 towards the end of the year. Tank's coming into his prime. Ryan's not there yet. He's kind of like that Canelo, that young Canelo who was fighting Floyd Mayweather. Although I don't want to compare Ryan to Canelo at all. Ryan and Canelo are two totally different individuals. Canelo is a beast. He can take a punch. He's never been dropped. He's never been hurt. Canelo's chin, his head is made out of granite. But Ryan is the younger fighter. He's not in his prime yet. We don't know what he's going to be like 3-4 years down the road. But right now he's 22. Tank's 26. You have someone at that weight range that they're in his prime. So is it going to be Ryan that uses his length and his reach to keep Tank away? He called Tank out after the fight. Check this out.
Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. Who do you guys want? Who do you guys want? Which one? We want Tank. We want Tank. You hear this? Let's go. Let's go.
After this call out, he has to be ready. He has to know that Tank is aiming for him. It's a good time to make this matchup. I don't know if I think it's going to slightly favor Tank, who's coming off that great knockout win over Leo Santa Cruz, who is a smaller fighter and a little bit older, 33 years old, in that weight range, who came up to face Tank. But still, the way Tank finishes opponents, it's a lot different than the way Ryan, yes, he has 18 knockouts to his 21 wins. Tank's at 26 wins with 25 knockouts. Only one person went the decision. That was when he fought a 6-rounder. But still, it's going to be difficult for Ryan to overcome that power, especially if he keeps his head up high. I'm watching the fight, and he keeps his chin up, his head up. He's fighting Luke Campbell, who was a taller fighter, but fighting tall when he needs to tuck that chin down. He needs so that he doesn't get touched up. And against Tank, they're going to have a totally different game plan. Again, Ryan's not Canelo. Canelo will go in there and bang. He banged with Triple G, even though the first fight was a draw, which I thought Triple G won. It's still Canelo can go in there and take shots. Ryan can't go there and start swinging with Tank Davis. It's not going to be good for Ryan. Ryan, to win that fight, is going to have to take Tank the distance and be able to tire Tank out. I know one of the Tank's downfalls is his cardio, but against Leo Santa Cruz, his cardio was pretty good. He made weight. That was something that Tank has had issues with in the past. Made weight, no problem. And it was a phenomenal performance, especially Tank knew that there were going to be eyes on him. A big Mexican crowd back in Leo Santa Cruz. And if you remember, Tank wore the Mexican flag on his shorts, which was great marketing. Floyd did the same thing with Oscar De La Hoya and some of the other fighters that of Mexican heritage that he fights. It's just great from a marketing standpoint. Tank is trying to market himself better. And it's one of those things where that's going to be a huge fight. That's going to sell pay-per-views. But then you have Teofimo Lopez coming in, and he said that both Tank and Ryan are scared to fight him. He said that in a little bit different verbiage, but put Teo in the mix. I mean, Teofimo just coming off that huge win over Lomachenko, where he was a huge underdog. Most people didn't think Teofimo was going to beat Lomachenko, including me. I didn't make a prediction, but I just didn't see how he was going to beat Loma, who's in his prime. And now people are thinking that Loma was coming out of his prime. Add Teofimo Lopez to this mix. A potential matchup I heard was between him and Mikey Garcia. I don't know how close that is, especially with Mikey fighting at 47 at times. Mikey can make 40. I don't know if Lopez is going to come up that much, but that's an intriguing matchup too, whether it's Lopez versus Tank. And I don't think Ryan he's not there yet. Maybe a fight with Devin Haney. I think that would serve him much better. Get a bigger name, get some rounds in, especially against Haney, a world champion, and see what happens from there, and then take on maybe a Tank or Lopez. Let Teofimo Lopez and Tank fight, and then let's have the winner of Garcia, Haney, and Lopez Davis fight. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. You could do the Ryan Garcia fight with Tank. I mean, that would do huge numbers, but is that in their best interest? And Oscar De La Hoya, when he was a fighter, he fought everyone, whether he was old, young, it didn't matter. I mean, Bernard Hopkins is way bigger than him. He fought Hopkins. Pacquiao was smaller than him, but that was the last fight of his career, and Pacquiao was in his prime. He fought Pacquiao. He fought Mayweather when he was a little bit past his prime. He fought Sugar Shane Mosley. De La Hoya got in there with anyone, but I think as a promoter, he wants to be smart at the same time. He wants to make sure that, okay, I don't have Canelo anymore, right? Dawson. It's Dawson. I know they want to say Dazon. It's spelled Dawson. As a promoter, he wants to keep his golden egg, and right now Ryan is his golden egg. Ryan loses, doesn't bode well. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's not terrible. I know boxing, if you get a loss, it seems as if you're not good anymore. Whereas MMA, the greatest fighters in the world have losses under their belt. But in boxing, that O is really important to them. So it's interesting to see what Oscar will do. Yes, Ryan says that he wants to fight Tank, but he's not making the fights. So we'll see what happens there.